friends, how are you doing? I hope you're all well. It's been quite a while since I've been in front of the camera. I'm Gerald, if you forgot who I am. I hope you're I hope you remember who you are. I kind of forgot who I was for a bit, but anyways, I'm back. We'll see if this sticks or if I disappear for a while. But I thought I'd sit down today and film a video and let you know what's going on. I appreciate everyone who has reached out and checked in to see how I was doing and said that they missed me and was hoping that I'd film a video soon. I kind of just fell off of the crafting movement momentum train. So if you hear the coffee pot in the background, you probably can't, but I always say that, and it drives me nuts when I hear other people say that. I'm hoping my coffee is almost done. As soon as it's done, I'm gonna jump up and get a cup of coffee because I kind of need some. I've only had one cup today and I usually have like 5 by now. So, and it is now 11:49 in the morning. But it is Sunday, June 12th, 13th. What is today? June 13th? I don't know. It's sometime in June 2021. And I have done very little crafting since I last filmed back in, when did I last film? I should have looked before I sat down to film. I think it was in April the last time I filmed, maybe March. It was March or April since the last time I filmed. And I have not wanted to do anything as far as crafting. So therefore I had nothing to talk to you guys about. So I have not filmed. And there is my coffee. I will be right back. That was the chandelier. I have my pea cup that my brother gifted me for Christmas a couple years ago. Coffee is super hot. This is coffee that I bought in Virginia when I was in Virginia for Mother's Day. I traveled to Virginia to visit my family because I'm now allowed to travel. We'll get into all that. I just need to take a drink. All right. So, yes, I hit my head on the chandelier. I do it all the time. We are in my dining room. Dining room, which is basically my greenhouse, which we will take a tour of my plants here in a little bit after I show you my progress. I figured I would show my plants at the end of the video in case you weren't interested in looking at my plants. That's pretty much what I've been doing since I last talked to you, but we'll get into all that at the end of the video. But my dining room, I got rid of my dining room table. I think I was talking about that towards the end of my filming recently, last videos, but I made my dining room into my permanent office because I was previously working from home like during COVID last year. And then I got a desk for my computer and, you know, I think we talked about all this a long time ago. I don't remember. But my dining room has now turned into my office slash greenhouse. And so I don't have a table in the dining room anymore, like an eat-in dining room table. So but I have a permanent fixture, chandelier, light fixture in the middle of the dining room, and it hangs down lower than I am tall. And so I hit my head all the time on it. And as I stood up, I forgot it was there because, you know, I just forget it's there. And it's a good thing it hasn't broken yet. Anywho, so what has been going on in the past like 3 months since I filmed? April, May, 3-ish months. I've done no crafting. Well, I've done very little crafting, which we'll get into. I did travel to Virginia to visit family and Donna Ray. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I checked in with Donna Ray in Virginia Beach. So I did go to Dying to Stitch. I did purchase my very first piece of R&R reproduction fabric, and of course it's all put away, so I don't have it here to show you. It's a very nice deep gray. No idea what I'm going to stitch on it. Didn't really get much else. I did get one pattern, but I have it all put away, so I'm not going to show you any of that stuff that I purchased, because guess what? I lost interest in stitching, so I packed everything away because it was just kind of cluttered up, and I was in that thing where I was like, I don't want to look at it, so I put it all away. And so I was able to travel to visit my mom for Mother's Day, which was very nice. I bought lots of plants. I've been buying lots of plants. Not really lots of plants. I have a nice plethora of plants to show. That's we'll talk about at the end of the video. And that's basically what I've been doing. I really feel like, I know I've been talking to some stitching friends, and you know, I typically will go through these phases where I just lose interest in something and I'll go to something else, but this year has been different where, like, typically if I lose interest in cross stitch, I'll go to knitting. I didn't even want to do that this year. Like, I know last spring I lost interest in stitching for a while and I didn't film, and I did a whole lot of knitting at the beginning of COVID, and this year I didn't even want to do knitting. So, and we'll get into all of the progress that I did make with my crafting, but it's been an interesting situation where I will come home from work, I will sit on the couch. Well, I will look at all of my plants. I will water my plants because I'm a chronic overwaterer, which is a situation I'm trying to address. And then I will sit on the couch, try to find something to watch, and then go to bed at 9:30. And that's what I do. But so it's one of those things where I'm just not really motivated to do much of anything. But I'm slowly reintegrating myself back into some crafting. So let's talk about some crafting, because that's what you're here for. Since we last filmed, like literally right after the last video, I did have a finish. And that finish was my 2x2 cross stitch from Etsy castle. This is on a 28 count uh, 28 count solo dye linen from Silk Weaver. So this doesn't have a name. And there it is. Yeah, so there is my finish of the castle that I did. And this is using, so this is 1/1 using DMC. I think it's number 29, DMC number 29. On the 28 count linen. Here is a big picture of what that linen looks like. And that's the finished picture. So I have another, there's 2 castles in that design, in that pattern. So there's one more castle to do. I'll get it done someday. The plan is to do the other castle on the same fabric, but in a different color. I think I have a brown picked out. So that's my finish. If you follow me on Instagram, you already knew about this, like way back in April. My Instagram is at ginger.gerald.com. Yeah, not com. At ginger.gerald.stitcher. Ginger.gerald.stitcher. Ginger Gerald Stitcher. All right. So the only knitting I've really been doing, I have 2 projects of knitting to show you. The first one that I've been working on is my sweater. Not a whole lot of progress. So basically what I'll do is I've been going round and round and round and round and round on my sweater. That's what I've gotten done. Maybe like 4 inches since over the last 3 months. Whole big whopping progress. This is using the color Aconite from, I have 2 cones, 2 of these cones of Aconite. I'm holding it 2 strands. And this is from Holst Garn. And this is their Coast. Yeah, Coast, which is a 55% wool, 45% cotton. And I might have those 2 mixed up because it's not in English. Right there it is. So it's not in English, so it's 55% old, 45% Beaumould, which I believe is 55% wool and 45% cotton, but I might have those mixed up. But I have 2 of these. The color is Aconite. And I'm just going around and around and around. I have to go like 20 inches. And I think I'm at like 13. But the thing is, because of my loss of motivation to craft at all, I'll pick it up. I'll do 1, maybe 2 rows, and then I'll be like, why do I want to do this? And then I'll put it back down. But I'll force myself to finish the row, and then I'll put it back down. So at least I did something. But then that's all I do. The other thing that I just recently started, while I was at my mom's house, she wanted me to knit her a dishcloth, but we don't use them for dishcloths. We use them for doilies or like furniture protectors. And she wanted me to knit her an extra large one to put underneath her lamp. And it was in the color that I've given her things before that matches her living room. So we bought the same color that is I Love This Yarn from Hobby Lobby. And this is in the color Harvest. So it's I Love This Yarn, 100% cotton. I'm sorry, I Love This Cotton. It's 100% cotton. And I am doing the boxy dishcloth pattern, but I've made it a little bit larger because she wants it to be a little bit larger of a pattern. And that is what I'm doing. And I cast this on Friday night. So this is 3 days of progress. So that's where we're at. So there we go. So that's my knitting for you. Finally, I did start to do some stitching again. So Tuesday, I had my stitching. Still kind of hot. Okay. So Tuesday, I had my stitching meetup with some friends, and I was like, I want to stitch, but I didn't want to stitch anything I already had going, even though and even though I really want to get some of those finished. I said I was like I want to get something going that I'm gonna feel motivated to do. So I looked through my stuff and I said to myself, what is going to motivate me to stitch? And it dawned on me, things that always motivate me to stitch are Renato Perelin patterns. So I was recently gifted these Renato Perelin patterns during my Exuding Joy, Exuding Kindness Lent movement. So I decided to start La Foresta di Fans. La Foresta. Okay. La Foresta di Fans. I'm sure I butchered that. Okay. So this is one of the 3 patterns I was gifted. And then I had to figure out the fabric I was going to do. And I was like, I have a whole bunch of fabric. I should have something that works. The only thing I had to work was a 56 count piece of fabric. So that's what this is going on. So this is what it looks like when it will be finished in like 6 years, because it's going to take me forever. The stitch count on this, by the way, is 762 stitches wide by 124 stitches tall. Started in the center. So this is a 56 count Zweigart linen by XU Designs in soft mandarin. This is a 19-inch by 35-inch piece of fabric. I'm using the entire piece. I won't need the entire piece. I'll need the entire piece wide. So I get, I think it's a 3-inch border. I won't need the entire piece tall, but at least it'll give me some buffer for like how I want to frame it. I might want to frame it a little bit with a little bit of extra tall, so that it gives me a little bit more. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. But here is what I have started so far. This is like 3 days worth of stitching. And bear with me because there's a string behind it, or a thread behind it. So you can still see the thread behind it there. But that looks horrible with that behind it. There we go. That's a little bit better maybe. There is what I have done so far. So this is soft mandarin fabric. So it's a nice yellowy gold color. Let's see here. There we go. So it's a nice yellowy, almost like a peach color. And so it almost kind of looks like a heart at the moment, like a human heart. But so this is the first center tree. Gonna take me forever to stitch this because it's so intricate, and it's on 56 count. I love 56 count, but it is a much slower process just because it's so small and fine. I'm going to get asked probably 15 times, so I'm going to answer it now. I do not use magnification. I don't need magnification at this time, so I'm going to stitch on it while I can when I don't need to have magnification. I love stitching on 56 count. I am using I am using 938 DMC 938, so I don't use any kind of specialty floss. I know some people use Tudor silks or something like that that's much finer gauge. I use DMC 938 on the 56 count, hand dyed, and that is where I'm at so far. So this is the center tree on the design. So I think these trees, the deciduous trees, will take much more time than the coniferous. Am I saying that right? I don't know why I'm having a brain fart. Deciduous, coniferous. Yeah. These trees will go much slower because of the fine detailed branches, whereas the other trees, the pine trees, deciduous, coniferous trees will go much quicker because it's just like straight lines. But I really enjoy this pattern. So it's the trees, and then it's like the underbrush and animals in the base. So that is where we are at on this pattern. And that's all I have to show you. So that is my stitching. That's my crafting. That's my knitting. So let me go ahead and turn you around. I will take you off of the stand and I will give you a little bit of a tour of my plants and how I now have my plants displayed in my home and what kind of different plants I have. So the plants that I have now have definitely branched out in the types of plants that I enjoy to have. I was just looking, I still have a fungus gnat issue. I'm trying to get them under control, and we will talk about that as we go along. And yeah, so if you are interested in looking at the plants that I have and hearing about the plants, I will probably go on for a little bit about plants, probably just as long as I've talked now so far. I have lots of great plants. I think I have lots of great plants to talk about, and then we'll wrap it up there. So let me turn around and then we'll talk about plants. So we are going to start here on our plant tour in the bedroom. I only have three places in my home that I can have plants that tolerate, or I guess that need light. So because I only have 2 windows and a sliding door in my home. So one of them is in my bedroom. So this is like the secondary source for me to have plants. So this is my bedroom window. And for that, I moved my money tree into here. I did have this in another place and it was not doing well or thriving since I repotted it. So I put it here and it's doing much better. It's really enjoying. It's definitely growing more now since I moved it here, and seems to be thriving. I am starting to kind of fall out of love with this plant. I think I'm finding that I'm growing more in love with other plants. I'm still gonna keep it, but it's just not one of my pride and joys that I really enjoy having. But it's definitely doing well, and I guess we'll maintain it here in the bedroom for now. Over here in the window, we have a yellow Christmas cactus. that, or I guess Thanksgiving cactus, I should say, that I have in a glass vase potted. That is the original plant that I had shipped to me. It has always been one that doesn't do the greatest, but it's kind of like the mother plant that then I get other smaller plants off of. So I just maintain it here for now. And not sure what I'm going to do with it for now. This plant here I got from a pot of, I got as a gift from a Secret Santa gift that I have no idea what this is called. So if you know what this is called, I would greatly appreciate it if you could put the name in the information or in the comments section. It is doing much better for me since I repotted it into this pot and put it in the window. So I have no idea what this is called. This is my first begonia I ever had. Was a Mother's Day gift that my friend got, that he just gave it to me. And I think he got it from work, that they gave it to him for Mother's Day. I don't know. And so I potted it, and it's just, you know, here. One of my orchids. This is a Phalaenopsis. I almost lost this one, but it's coming back and it's throwing out a new leaf. It hasn't bloomed yet this year. And then this is the very first. This is called a philodendron bipinfolium. I bought this as a cutting, and it is actually rooting now. I had it rooting in water, and now I've recently put it in soil, and it is. I do know it is rooting, and I'm just waiting for it to pop up out of the soil. I can't wait for it to pop up out of the soil. This is one of my favorite philodendrons, and it's pretty rare. You can't really find it in many places. So excited to see how it does coming as a rooting. And finally, here in the bedroom on the ground is one of my absolute favorite pots, or I guess planters. This is more of a planter style. I bought this planter at HomeSense, which is owned by like the TJ Maxx Core. And this is here, this is my Syngonium planter. And I have an alocasia. Alocasias are my absolute #1 favorite plant as of right now. And so this is a bronze Syngonium. Back here I have a mango. Let's see where I can get you. You can see here, these are my, you're going to see a bunch of these around. These are my fungus gnat traps. This is a mango Syngonium. I have another various, I'm not exactly sure what the name of this Syngonium is at the moment. Do I have a, yes I do. I do know what the name of this one is. This is a Syngonium robusta. I have a Regina red Syngonium. And then, I keep getting my string of pearls stuck in my hair. And then this here is called a Regal Shield Syngonium, or as I like to call it, my Donna Ray Syngonium, Alocasia. This is called a Regal Shield Alocasia, or which I call Donna Ray, because I bought it with Donna Ray when I was at her house in Virginia Beach. And as you can see, I am getting a new leaf. So, and what's really neat about Alocasia are that every time it throws up a new leaf, they should get larger than the previous one. So this one was the largest one whenever I bought it. This was the newest leaf. This was the first leaf I got, the first new leaf that it grew since I bought it. And now this one should be larger than this one. Up above my head here is an orchid cactus that a viewer sent to me. It has not been, I had it in a not ideal light setting, so it's been very leggy. And so I moved it here and it's doing much better. And then over here is my string of pearls. You can see there, that's my bookshelf of stitching and books. And there is my heaven and earth design. All right, we're going to move to the dining room, and I will show you the plants in my greenhouse. So just to scan my dining room area, just so you can see how I have it set up. There are the majority of plants in my dining room. I call it my greenhouse just because there's not actually a greenhouse in here. It's just my green area. So over here, right here, on either side of the entryway into my dining room this is one plant that I separated into 3 different pieces. I have 2 of them. I gave one piece to Donna Ray when I visited her in Virginia Beach. And this is called an Anthurium heucheri ruffles. And so this was a massive plant that I bought at a local greenhouse garden center that needed to be separated and repotted. And so when I bought it 2 or 3 months ago, it was not doing all that great. And as you can see, I'm starting to lose a leaf here, but I'm starting to get some new growth here now, which is I was really starting to worry about it, that it was not doing well, but they are actually both now starting to grow new leaves, which is really exciting. So that's really neat. Then over here is one of my orchids. I've had this one for many, many years. I think I finally found, after many, many years, finally found the perfect spot for it, and it's now really starting to do well. There's lots of new growth on it. I've never really gotten this one to bloom. So I think I bought this one at a local grocery store. I'm not even sure what type of orchid this is, to be honest. Here is one of another, this is a philodendron called Deja Vu. I bought this at Virginia Beach as well. This is also one that has not been doing all that great for me. And this is, I think it needs more light. I'm not exactly sure, but it's growing, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on. This is Olympia false Aurelia. And then this, I'm not exactly, what is this one called? This is called a dark mystery pilea. But this one's doing well. This one's actually blooming and everything for me. I bought both of these at Lowe's. My, words. African violet. There we go. This is my very first cross stitch since I got back into the hobby. And this is my pothos that I got in the same Secret Santa gift that of that mystery ID plant that is in my bedroom. So, and this is finally starting to do really well for me, and it's growing a whole bunch of different shoots. All of this over here is a brand new shoot that I never had before that just grew over the last year. I think I'm going to cut this off and root it so it gets a little bit bushier, and because it's starting to grow a little bit leggy. All right, over here I have a string of turtles. I have my clearance purchase cane begonia that I got at Lowe's for $5. This is my Bambino, or my miniature fiddle leaf fig. This is my, I think this is my only Hoya that I own. I could be wrong, but this is my, this is Hoya compacta. And I actually just recently cut it off and planted, this was one long, these two pieces right here were one long vine that I cut off, but I cut them off and then I repot. I just pop them back into the pot so that they grow, so it gets a little bit more full. Down here, I have 2 more begonias. This is one that I've been looking for and looking for and looking for, and I ordered it on Amazon or on Etsy. This is called an autumn something begonia. I've been having a hard time finding it. And then back there is another Rex begonia that I found at Lowe's. And then these are just some cuttings from another plant we'll find here shortly that I'm trying to propagate. Here is my when I need to come up with names of plants, it's hard to come up with, but any other time I have them at the top of my head. This is my Monstera deliciosa that is actually growing pretty well now. We got a few new growths. You can see there, and again, another fungus gnat trap. We have my main, this was my yellow orchid phalaenopsis that was blooming last time I was filming, but the blooms have recently just died off. Down here at the bottom of my plant shelf are my smaller Thanksgiving cacti. I have a few cacti. These are pottery sculptures that I did in elementary school. And then this is a chicks and hen. Over here, another Thanksgiving cactus, a golem plant. Here is a blooming Streptocarpus, which is in the family of African violet and primrose. This is a Peperomia piccolo banda. And then here, one of my favorite shelves, I have 2 cacti. This is a cacti. This is a Euphorbia mammillarius variegata, or an Indian corn cob cactus. And then over here is a Senecio cliniformis, or a spearhead cactus, or a succulent. This here is a Buddhist pine, which is what's really neat about this is it starts, whenever it grows in, it's really light green, and then it gets really dark green as it grows. I guess this can be considered grown as a bonsai tree. Back here is a black velvet alocasia. Again, alocasia are my favorite plants at right now. They grow really well for me too with the type of light that I have. And this is a alocasia bambino, right? Yes, bambino. There, you can see it a little bit better. Euphorbia, and this is mammillaria, I think. No, not mammillaria, is it? This is a crown of thorns. Up here, I have one of my first philodendron that I ever got. This is a brandantii. Yeah, brandantium. This is a Anthurium hybrid. I call Judy because I bought it with my friend Judy. Here are 3 different types of cacti that I bought over from different places. This one, 2 of these are blooming at the moment or going to bloom. If you want to see a picture of this one in bloom, you can go onto my Instagram. It has a really, really pretty pinkish blooms, but it's going to bloom again as well. Lithops, or a living stone. Here is my ficus ginseng. And this is my primrose. And it is actually in bloom again, which is the first time I've ever had it bloom 2 times in the same year. And I attribute it to this type of planter. And this planter is a self-watering planter. A different type of self-watering planter from the other types that I've had before. So you just pour the water in here, and then it seeps in through a porous, like terracotta type clay. Air plant. This is a concrete succulent. Or a cement succulent. I think it's called one of those types of things. Another air plant back there. This here is a sensitive plant. If you touch it, it will fold in on itself. Two more succulents. I'm not exactly sure what these ones are called. This one here was the original plant, and those ones back there were cuttings that I made from the original plant. This here is a member of the magnolia family. This is a banana shrub. I'm hoping I can get it to bloom. This here is an alocasia called lowrider, I believe, right? Yeah, lowrider. Air plant. And one of my newest actually the newest acquisition I've gotten. This is called a pinguicula, and it's actually a carnivorous plant, and I'm hoping this will actually help with my fungus gnat issue, because it eats fungus gnats, and you can actually kind of see some of the fungus gnats stuck to the plant. So what it does is the fungus gnats get stuck to the leaves, and then it secretes a digestive enzyme or a liquid, and it digests the fungus gnats right there on the leaves. So we will see how well it does with containing my fungus gnat situation. I might need to have like 15 of these to control the amount of fungus gnats I have, all from my plants, because I'm an overwaterer. So I just need to not water my plants so much. But oh, and then up above my head here, I have this is a peperomia. I just had the name of this plant in my head not that long ago. I forget now, but it's green on one side and red on the other, which is a really neat, and it grows super fast. So there you can see it's green and it's red, which is really, really cool. And then here is this is a goldfish plant. I've had this plant for well over a year now. By what I understand, this is extremely hard to get the bloom. I have not had any success this year, or any success in getting it to bloom since I've had it. However, what is super exciting is that now, right there, I have a bloom coming. So hopefully on a future episode, I can show you my goldfish plant in bloom. So boys and girls, that is the majority of my plants. So I hope you enjoyed my plant tour. Now that you've seen the majority of my plants, any kind of plants I get in a future purpose, I can future purchase, I can just show you at the end of a video or something like that. If you're interested, let me know. Let me know if you liked the plant parade or walkthrough. I enjoy, plants are one of my enjoyments, just like stitching and knitting are. So it's definitely a hobby, just like the others. Trying to catch a gnat. I'm getting much better at catching them, but I'm hoping the pinguicula is a great help with that as well. So anyways, I hope you have a great day. Enjoy your stitching, enjoy your hobbies, your knitting, and until I see you again, I don't know when that's going to be, but until then, as always, don't forget to always be creative.